Today's tale is about a man who defied America for over half a century. He was a bearded lawyer who toppled a dictator, outlasted 11 US presidents, and turned a small Caribbean island into the world's most stubborn symbol of revolution. In the 1950s, Cuba was a playground for the rich. American businessmen ruled the sugar trade, and the country's ruler, Fulgencio Batista, was a brutal dictator backed by the US. Beneath the glamour of Havana's casinos and nightclubs, ordinary Cubans lived in poverty, corruption, and fear. Then came a young lawyer named Fidel Castro. He was tall, charismatic, and burning with anger at injustice. He believed Cuba belonged to its people, not to the foreigners or the few who held power. In 1953, Castro gathered a small group of rebels and launched a daring attack on the Moncada barracks in Santiago de Cuba. It was a disaster. Most of his men were killed or captured. Fidel himself was thrown in prison. Yet, from behind bars, he delivered his legendary speech, "History will absolve me." Those words turned him from a failed rebel into a national hero. After being released under political pressure, he fled to Mexico, where he met another fiery idealist, Ernesto Che Guevara. Together, they planned to retake Cuba. With just 82 men, they sailed across the Caribbean on a tiny yacht called Grandma in 1956. Most were killed or captured upon landing, but Castro, Che, and a handful survived, retreating into the Sierra Maestra mountains. From those rugged hills, they began a guerrilla war that would change history. They won hearts by helping peasants, sharing food, and fighting Batista's soldiers with hit-and-run tactics. By 1959, Batista fled the country, and Castro marched triumphantly into Havana, greeted by cheering crowds. Cuba had a new leader, a revolutionary hero. At first, many saw him as a liberator, but soon Castro's rule took a hard turn. He nationalized industries, seized foreign businesses, and aligned Cuba with the Soviet Union. The US responded with economic sanctions, and by 1961, relations collapsed completely. That same year, 1,400 CIA-trained exiles invaded Cuba at the Bay of Pigs, hoping to overthrow him. Castro crushed them in just 3 days, and his legend as a defiant survivor was sealed. Then came the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, when the Soviet Union placed nuclear missiles in Cuba, putting the world on the brink of World War III. Castro stood his ground as global powers stared each other down. When the crisis ended, Cuba became the face of resistance to American dominance. But over time, his revolution began to crack. Castro's government silenced dissent, controlled the press, and punished anyone who opposed him. The economy suffered under strict socialism. While some hailed him as a freedom fighter, others fled the island, calling him a dictator who traded one form of oppression for another. The collapse of the Soviet Union in the 1990s hit Cuba hard. With no ally to support it, Castro's Cuba plunged into hunger and poverty. Yet somehow he held on, surviving assassination attempts, US isolation, and countless rumors of his death. By 2008, his health failed and he finally stepped down, handing power to his brother Raul Castro. The man who once roared defiance at empires faded quietly into the background. On November 25, 2016, Fidel Castro died at 90. Crowds wept in Havana, while exiles in Miami celebrated. His death, like his life, divided the world. To some, he was the voice of the oppressed. To others, the iron fist of tyranny. But love him or hate him, Fidel Castro proved one thing. A single man with conviction as his weapon can take the entire world. What do you think of Fidel Castro? I'd like to know in the comment section. For more stories like this, please follow, like, share, and subscribe.